What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Lennox Lewis. Big up, England, big up. Get this, Lennox Lewis names the best fighter that he's ever stepped in the ring with. Wins over Frank Bruno, Ray Mercer, Andrew Galata, Mike Tyson, Vitaly Klitschko. Stand proud on his resume, but who put up the best test of his career? And this is what he had to say, quote, he says, Evander was very talented, although I was disappointed that he used his head as a punch in those fights. The word was that he was the greatest heavyweight of our era, but nobody could say that until he fought Lennox Lewis. In the first fight, he was overconfident, singing during his ring walk, so I went after him and he was shocked to get that draw. Second time around, he knew what to expect, so it was a tougher fight, but I still won comfortably. He said Holyfield had excellent variety to his defense. He could cross his arms like George Foreman, but he was also well schooled in the traditional type of defense you get taught in the amateurs. Evander presented a real challenge, and I had to put in a lot of effort to break through. I couldn't land one or two shots and be constant. It had to be 3 or 4 or 5. Those are the words of Lennox Lewis, and let me counterpunch. This is surprising. I would say Ray Mercer was probably his hardest fight, but then again, Ray Mercer did not have the defense that Holyfield did. Holyfield was a better fighter than a lot of people. He was the first one that really took it to Mike Tyson the way Mike Tyson needed it to get took to. Okay? You have to put it on Mike. And he knew, and he had the mentality of a warrior to do exactly that. So I can get that to a certain degree. However, what I do want to mention in this fight, I do think the second fight between him and Holyfield, and I know I'm a bit biased because I was going for Holyfield instead of Lennox Lewis. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. It was in 97 or 98. Okay, and Holyfield did enough, ironically, for me to score a draw. Hell, because if the first fight was such a draw, which is bullshit, you know, the second fight, based on the same standards, should be a draw. But Lennox Lewis did win comfortably in both fights. I want to add that I'm glad Lennox Lewis has came out and exposed Evander Holyfield for the type of shit that he did. If you look at this picture right here, this shows you everything you need to know about Holyfield. Holyfield did use his head as a punch at times. He would lean in and then give you 3 or 4 or 5 punches. He would do that shit every time. Look at Mike Tyson right here. Mike Tyson bit the shit out of his ear because Mike was tired of getting headbutted. Evander did that shit all the time, people. It's just in the circle of fighters, and the people that fought him knew that about him. A lot of people outside the boxing world didn't know that he was that dirty, but people knew when they were in the ring with him. When they're in the square circle with Holyfield, Holyfield had that bald head, nice and smooth, and he would lean in on you, okay? And he would put that head forward, and then he would disguise it with a combination. You know, just like he did Rahman. Look at Rahman's head again. Look at that again. His head looked like a freaking anvil. Looked like a Looney Tune cartoon. Okay? That's what Evander Holyfield used to do. And I'm glad Lennox Lewis brought that up. You know what I mean? I'm glad he did that. He took that into account, and he's exposing Evander Holyfield for being somewhat of a dirty fighter, especially with those headbutts. You know, and if you know you can get away with a foul, you'll do it each and every time. In fact, you'll become entitled to it because you become so accustomed to doing or getting away with the same shit, it just becomes second nature. You know what I mean? But it does surprise me that this is the best fighter that Lennox Lewis has ever faced. But you guys tell me what you think of Lennox Lewis's choice of the toughest fighter, along with the dirtiest fighter now, Evander the real deal Holyfield. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!